Evil man demands money from poor woman. Has no idea Big Shaq is next door. And this happens. Big Shaq, the towering basketball legend, renowned for not only his impressive stature on the court, but also for his immense heart off of it, had just wrapped up an intense workout at a local gym. Despite his global fame and the relentless spotlight that often accompanied it, Shaq preferred the tranquility of low-key venues. These were places where he could shed the persona of a superstar and connect genuinely with everyday people. On this particular day, he was staying at a modest hotel nestled in a bustling neighborhood, savoring the rare anonymity the area provided. Little did he know, fate was orchestrating a life-changing encounter right next door. Across the narrow corridor from Shaq's suite lived Maria, a resilient single mother of two struggling to keep her head above water. Maria worked tirelessly at a local diner, often pulling double shifts to make ends meet. Her days were a relentless cycle of serving customers, managing orders, and ensuring that her children, Sophia and Daniel, never went hungry or lacked the essentials. Their modest apartment was a reflection of their financial struggles, with every penny Maria earned meticulously allocated to paying bills, keeping food on the table, and nurturing the faint but persistent hope of a brighter future for her kids. Despite the hardships that weighed heavily on her, Maria's unwavering determination and innate kindness had earned her the respect and admiration of her neighbors. One chilly evening, as Maria was tucking Sophia and Daniel into bed, ensuring their blankets were snug and their nightlights were dimmed, a loud, aggressive knock shattered the relative peace of their small apartment. Her heart sank instantly, a familiar dread washing over her as she approached the door. She opened it to face a man she recognized all too well, Victor, a loan shark who had been relentlessly hounding her for weeks. Victor had extended Maria a loan during one of her particularly rough patches, a temporary lifeline that had now morphed into a relentless nightmare. Despite her best efforts to repay him, Victor's demands had grown increasingly unreasonable and menacing. "Maria," Victor sneered, his voice dripping with contempt and menace. "You're late on your payment." "Again!" Maria's voice trembled as she responded. "I just need a little more time. I'm doing everything I can." Victor's eyes narrowed into slits, his voice escalating with intensity. Time doesn't pay debts. You've got 1 week, or I'll take everything, your furniture, your kids' toys, whatever it takes." Unbeknownst to Maria and Victor, Shaq was in the hallway returning from his workout at the gym. He paused momentarily, hearing the raised voices and sensing the tension emanating from Maria's apartment. His innate curiosity and concern, especially when he sensed someone was in distress, prompted him to lean closer to the door, eavesdropping on the heated exchange. Victor's voice grew louder, more insistent. "Maybe you can sell that TV. Or better yet, find a real job. You know what happens when people don't pay me, Maria." Maria's children, Sophia and Daniel, who had been quietly observing from a distance, peeked around the corner, their wide eyes filled with fear and confusion, reflecting the gravity of the situation unfolding before them. Maria quickly ushered them back into their room, trying to shield them from the harsh reality and protect their innocence from the brutal confrontation. Shaq's instincts immediately kicked in. This was no ordinary dispute. It was a situation where a woman was being threatened in front of her children. He couldn't stand by and watch this unfold without taking action. Without hesitation, he knocked firmly on Maria's door, his deep, resonant voice booming through the hallway. "Everything okay in there?" Victor turned sharply, his eyes meeting Shaq's imposing figure in the doorway. For a split second, his bravado faltered, uncertainty flickering across his face. Regaining his composure, he sneered. "This doesn't concern you, big guy. Stay out of it!" Shaq stepped inside the apartment, his presence immediately filling the small space. His towering height and muscular build made it clear he was not someone to be trifled with. He glanced at Maria, who looked both surprised and visibly relieved by his intervention. Then, without missing a beat, he turned his full attention to Victor, his voice calm but commanding. "It does concern me. You're scaring this woman and her kids. That's not how we handle things." Victor's arrogance resurfaced as he scoffed dismissively. "Do you even know who I am?" Shaq offered a faint smile, crossing his arms over his chest in a non-threatening but assertive posture. "Yeah, and do you know who I am?" The room fell silent, the tension thick enough to be cut with a knife. Victor took a closer look at Shaq, Recognizing dawning in his eyes, his confidence began to waver as he fully comprehended who stood before him. Despite his wavering resolve, he attempted to salvage his position. "This is none of your business, Big Shaq. She owes me money and I'm here to collect." Shaquille's expression hardened, his protective instincts fully engaged. "You're intimidating a single mom in front of her kids. That's not collecting a debt, that's bullying. How much does she owe you?" Victor hesitated, the facade of control slipping as he grappled with Shaq's unwavering stance. Finally, he muttered under his breath, $5,000. Maria gasped, her voice quivering with a mix of fear and frustration. "That's not true. I borrowed $2,000, and I've already paid back most of it." Shaq raised an eyebrow, his suspicion evident. "Sounds like you're trying to take advantage of her." He reached into his pocket, pulling out his phone. "How about we call the police and let them sort this out?" Victor's eyes darted around the room, the once confident loan shark now visibly rattled by Shaquille O'Neal's presence and the potential involvement of law enforcement. His confidence crumbled further as he realized his tactics were failing. "There's no need for that," he said quickly, desperation creeping into his voice. "I'll give her more time." Shaquille stepped closer, his voice low and firm, leaving no room for negotiation. "No, you're going to forgive the debt, all of it, and you're going to leave this family alone, forever." Victor opened his mouth to protest, but the stern look in Shaq's eyes silenced him instantly. Defeated, he nodded reluctantly, muttering, "Fine, it's done." Big Shaq watched as Victor left the apartment, ensuring he was truly gone before turning his attention back to Maria. She was visibly shaken, tears streaming down her face as she hugged her children tightly, seeking comfort in their embrace. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I don't know how to repay you." Shaquille knelt to her level, his towering frame softened by his genuine empathy. "You don't owe me anything. Just keep being strong for your kids. They need you." Maria looked up at him, her eyes filled with gratitude and disbelief. "Why are you doing all of this for us?" she asked, her voice tinged with confusion and awe. Shaquille smiled warmly, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Because I can, and because everyone deserves a little help when they're struggling. Now, you'll be in a position to help someone else someday." The following day, true to his word, Shaq returned to Maria's apartment, not just with words of comfort, but with a tangible support. He arrived with a car filled with groceries, a selection of toys for Sophia and Daniel, and a heartfelt surprise. He'd reached out to some of his contacts to secure Maria a better job at a nearby community center. This position would allow her to work fewer hours while still making enough to support her family, providing them with much-needed stability and peace of mind. Maria was overwhelmed with gratitude, her eyes welling up as she took in the generosity before her. "Why are you doing all of this for us?" she asked again, this time with a deeper understanding of his intentions. Shaquille's smile was genuine, his eyes reflecting his sincere desire to make a difference. Word of Shaq's actions spread like wildfire throughout the neighborhood, igniting a spark of inspiration among the residents. The local diner, where Maria worked tirelessly, held a fundraiser in her honor, raising enough money to pay off her remaining bills and secure a more stable financial future. Neighbors came together, pooling their resources and time to help fix up her apartment, transforming it into a safe and comfortable home for Sophia and Daniel. The sense of community grew stronger, united by Shaq's act of kindness. As for Big Shaq, his involvement didn't end there. He continued to visit Maria and her children whenever he was in town, becoming a mentor and a trusted friend. Sophia and Daniel adored him, often referring to him as Uncle Shaq, a title he embraced with humility and joy. He spent time with them, playing basketball in the courtyard, sharing stories, and teaching them valuable life lessons about perseverance, kindness, and the importance of community. Maria's life underwent a profound transformation that day, not just because of the immediate financial relief, but because someone had shown her that she wasn't alone. Shaq's kindness served as a beacon of hope, reminding her and everyone around her of the power of compassion and the strength found within a supportive community. The ripple effect of his actions reached far beyond their immediate circle, inspiring others to look out for one another and lend a helping hand whenever possible. In the end, it wasn't merely about a basketball legend stepping in to assist a struggling mother. It was a testament to the profound impact one person can have when they choose to use their platform and influence for the greater good. Big Shaq proved that even the smallest acts of kindness could set off a chain reaction, changing lives and fostering a sense of unity and support that transcended individual circumstances. Maria's gratitude was boundless. She no longer viewed herself as a victim of circumstance, but as a part of a community that cared deeply for one another. Her relationship with Big Shaq blossomed into a lasting friendship, one that provided her with not only practical support, but also emotional strength. With her new job, Maria found the balance she'd been desperately seeking, able to provide for her children without the constant stress of financial instability. In reflecting on this heartwarming tale, one might ponder the profound question, what would you do if you witnessed someone in need? How can we all contribute to creating a more supportive and compassionate community? These questions resonate deeply, urging each of us to consider our roles in the lives of those around us, whether through small acts of kindness, offering a listening ear, or providing tangible support. Every effort counts in building a world where compassion and empathy reign.